Now, late last night, the Ohio Department of Health released updated guidelines regarding sports participation, which would include high schools. Today, many athletic directors are confused as to how some of these guidelines would be implemented. Then late today, the Ohio Department of Health told our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, that they have nothing new to add to the guidelines, but more info will be coming out later this week. She explains the issue.
Practice has started for a number of schools with kids involved in sports, but new guidelines have caused a lot of confusion about how they'll actually be able to compete against other teams. Sunday night, the Ohio Department of Health issued updated guidelines relating to sports in general. At issue is Section 10 that states a negative COVID-19 test is required before traveling to competition, and a test must be administered to each athlete and team staff member participating no more than 3 days before the start of competition, and results must be in hand prior. That may be something professional sports teams can accomplish, but for school systems, it's nearly impossible.
But testing for kids has generally been limited since the very beginning. But then there is also this separate issue of not being able to test people without symptoms because of the reagent shortages and because of limited testing capacity. We just cannot test everyone right now. And so unless you're getting a procedure, and you don't have symptoms, you really can't get tested. And in fact, we can't even test everybody with symptoms. At this point, we're just having a lot of them isolate and assume that they're positive.
The hope is tomorrow Governor DeWine will address this issue in his biweekly press conference and give schools and other sports teams a better idea of how they'll need to proceed. Monica Robbins, 3 News.